In this video, I'm going to show you how to write in cursive using SAT words. If writing in cursive is intimidating to you, just remember, it's like writing in print without picking up your pencil. Do that as often as possible and you'll be writing in cursive in no time. Our first word is going to be adapt. Make to suit a new purpose. To make a capital A, we're going to start at the top of the line. We're going to curve around, meet where we started, come straight back down, and swoop to the right. Not picking up our pencil, we're going to do the same thing on a smaller scale, go up through the starting point and come back down for the D. A looks the same, but we're not going to go up so high. We're just going to stop where we met and come down, swoop out to the right, go down past the line, swoop around and touch for the P, go up past the line and stop. Come back and cross the T, that's adapt. Now to write adapt in real time. Trace over the word adapt in the gray section and then write it at least one time in your own handwriting next to it. Our next word is benevolent. Benevolent is kind and generous. Just like before, it's very similar to printing, but we're not going to pick up our pen. So I'm going to make a standard B, like I would if I were printing the letter, not picking up my pen and swooping into an E. Now an N, first hump is a connector for the letter N. We're going to swoop into an E. A V goes up, touches the line, and comes down and over. O, and then we're going to have a little loop at the top to help us keep going. And L is just like a lowercase e, but it touches the line instead of stopping halfway. Another N, and then a T. We're going to go up, down, pick up our pen, and cross. Out for benevolent in full speed. This is a little fancier B. I swooped around the back instead of going back and up down, but otherwise it's the same idea. Benevolent. Trace over benevolent on the first big line, and then I would like for you to do your own practice of benevolent at least one more time on the line next to where you're tracing over my example. Capitalize to use to your advantage. We're going to start with a C. I'm going to have a little hoop loop at the beginning. That doesn't have to be there, but that's a general standard capital C. We're going to come around, hook over and back up, down to make an A, not picking up our pen, down, around to make a P, go I, stop at the line, up, past the line and keep going for our T, another A, L, big E is what that is, we're touching the line, remember, another I, and then a Z. We're going to hook over, come down, hook past the line, and another E. Pick up my pencil and dot my I's, cross my T's. Here's capitalize in real time, the way I would write it normally, the same speed. Once again, trace over the gray version that is large on the bigger lines, and then I'd like for you to write it at least one more time on your own next to it. Dubious, doubtful, or questionable. For our D, we're going to start, go down, loop around, and hook back over. Then we're going to go down for a soft curve at the bottom of the page for the U, come back to the line, go up, touch the line like we're making an L, but hook over for an I, go down, O, a soft loop at the top, another U, and an S. You're going to go up, curve down, and hook out. We're going to go back and dot our I, and that's how you do dubious. I wasn't thinking here, and I started with a silly D that looked more like a P, so I crossed it out. And then real time, how I would actually write dubious. Follow this up by me doing it in pencil. I would like for you to trace over the word dubious here and then write it at least one time on your own. Exhilarating, invigorating, stimulating, or exciting. To create our E, we're going to start at the top. I did a little loop here. It's not necessarily, but it's a standard for your capital E, but it looks like a backwards 3. For the X, we're going to come up and go down. We're going to do the crossbar later. H is like an L, but we come up and do the hump over the edge. I, here's an L, A, come back around and touch the top. Scoop back down into an R. R comes up and does a little loop there and curves over. A, T, I, another N. And then the G is like the A, but we come down past the line and loop under. I'm going to dot my I's, cross my T's, and then I'm going to cross the X. Regular speed, exhilarating. And then I'm going to come down here at the bottom. Oh, well, I didn't cross my X. But I'm going to write it in pencil so that way you have one to trace over. And then I'd like for you to write it at least one time next to it in your own hand. F is going to be freewheeling. That means carefree. So to create our F, we're going to start at the top, do a little curly Q, come up, loop around, stop, pick up our pen, and cross through the F. That's one way to do an F. R, you're going to start at the bottom, go up, do a little curl, and shoot over. E, E. W is a lot like a V or a U, but we're going to go down, up, and over. H, like that L, but with a hump on it. E, E, L, I. We'll dot that in a minute. 2 humps for our N, and a G is like an A with a long tail that goes down and comes up, and we dot our I. Again, full speed, a little different F. I just don't pick up my pen and come straight through the line. Trace over the gray version, and then write your own example next to it, continuing to practice the cursive. Our next word is galvanizing. It means thrilling, exciting, or stimulating. For the G, we're going to start at the bottom of the line, swoop up, do a little curl similar to a lowercase r, come down, curve out slightly, swoop past the first line, and go out and over. Lowercase a, come down, up into a lowercase L touching the line, V, down, over, A, N, I, we'll come back and dot that in a second. Z, we're going to come in a little hump, down and loop it back over. I, N, and a G. After we do our tail and our G, we're going to dot all of our I's and then full speed. Again, trace over the gray and then write it at least one more time next to it, practicing those letters. Hostile, harmful, or dangerous. For our capital H, we're going to start by creating a small hook that goes from the left to the right and drops down. Pick up our pen, come straight down and lift over and loop out. O with a little curl at the top. S, come down, back through. T, I, L touching the top line, coming down and making an E. Full speed. Well, the beginning of this H is a little different. I started at a point and curled into the H instead, just to give it my own personality. You can do this with cursive. It's what makes it unique to you. And then we're gonna write it in the gray and then one time on your own. Now let's practice it as a sentence. So today, the T is a capital T. It's gonna look a lot like the F, but without the cross going through it. O, looping, coming down into my D. A, Y is like a G without the closed top, coming down underneath. I is a capital letter we haven't done yet, so I'm gonna slow it down. You're gonna start, go off to the left, curve down, and loop up like you're creating an L. That's I. Choose is just a lowercase c that goes up straight into our H, hooks over, 2 O's, S, and E. 2, when you're doing a lowercase t, you can start at the side like I did just there. I'll start at the side and build up into it, or you can go straight from the top and cross when you're done. I made a B, so I crossed it out real quick. Adapt, we're doing just like we did at the top, but instead of an uppercase, we're doing a lowercase a at the beginning. M is like the N, but we're going to have an extra hump because the M always is going to have one more hump than an N. Problems. The B is going straight into the L, into, starting at the bottom like we did with the T, and going back and dotting and crossing. And solutions. And that's going to be our first full page of writing in cursive. The next video, we will start with the letter I.